Hey folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Weekly Movie News Podcast. This week's news brought to you by upcoming movie Mission Impossible, Trump's Tariffs. Yes, okay, so the big news of the week came on Sunday when President Trump sent out a post saying that he is authorizing the Department of Commerce and the United States Trade Representative to put a 100% tariff on all movies coming into the country that are produced outside the U.S. Then, a day later on Monday, things started to make a bit more sense. So I'll read the quote in full from Sunday, and then we can get into what happened on Monday and see what this might actually look like. So, the president posted, quote, "The movie industry in America is dying a very fast death. Other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the United States. Hollywood and many other areas within the USA are being devastated. This is a concerted effort by other nations and, therefore, is a national security threat. It is, in addition to everything else, messaging and propaganda. Therefore, I am authorizing the Department of Commerce and the United States Trade Representative to immediately begin the process of instituting a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. We want movies made in America again." End quote. Okay, so no one knew what this meant. Nobody knows how implementation would work, what the standards and guidances would be. How do you deal with streaming? Is it percentage basis? Do post and pre-production count? And so on and so on. So no one knows. We don't know. Hollywood doesn't know. Studios don't know. The government doesn't know. Trump doesn't know. So yes, we finally see a unified country that can gather together and not knowing how the hell this would be formulated or implemented. And honestly, when I first read the news on Sunday, I wasn't even going to put this in the news show, just because there's no point in freaking out or guessing what this is, because in the end, it's probably not going to look like anything like what the post said. And so then Monday happened, and it looks like a much more different approach to things. So first, a White House spokesman came out and said that no final decision has been made, and quote, "The administration is exploring all options to deliver on President Trump's directive to safeguard our country's national and economic security while making Hollywood great again." End quote. So notice he didn't say deliver on the tariffs themselves. Then later, speaking with the press, the president said this when asked about the directive, quote, "I'm not looking to hurt the industry. I want to help the industry. So we're going to meet with the industry, and I want to make sure they're happy with it because we're all about jobs." End quote. And that's where this really sits, I think. So there is a ton of noise with this after Sunday, but I really think if the studios, big directors, producers, union leaders have a say in the conversation, my thinking and my hope is that carrots come out of this and not sticks. There actually is a unified goal here. Everyone from Trump to Ben Affleck to Gavin Newsom to Kevin Costner and Robert De Niro, they all want movies made in this country again. I just hope it's not through punishing and taxing projects, but rather making it better and more reasonable here to make a movie. And it still often comes down to the states separately. So really the federal government only has so many carrots to give out. Basically cutting some regulations, then federal tax incentives, and also incentivizing or rewarding the individual states that go and open things up for the industry. For instance, California has massively lost business over the past 10 and 20 years, but states like New Mexico and Georgia are doing much better. New York and Nevada right behind them, and now Texas and Florida very much pushing to be a major player. Bottom line here, there is and will be a lot of noise. But if the administration is actually interested in talking to industry leaders and they, quote, want to make sure they're happy with it, then whatever it is, I could probably get behind. We'll keep you posted here when new information comes out. Spending a ton of time on speculation in the coming weeks and on what could be or what could happen. It's just something I'm not interested in right now. It's just too early. So stay tuned. We'll keep you all posted on that. So with that, let's get into some more random news this week. And we'll start with two lovely actors, Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves. Yes, the two are pairing up again for a secret project over at Amazon MGM Studios. Sandra and Keanu worked together on The Lake House in 2006, but everybody really loves this movie couple from their 1994 hit Speed. And in fact, this under wraps film is being rumored to be Speed 3. The writer for the project is Noah Oppenheim, who wrote the film Jackie and has also co-created the De Niro political show over on Netflix. Sandra and Keanu jumped on board and are taking part in forming the film as well. And the reason why people are saying it's Speed 3 is because the producer on the original film, Mark Gordon, is attached to this new project as well. So we'll keep an eye out for when more news breaks on this one. Let's get into some Marvel news. So Ryan Reynolds doesn't care to just chill out quietly, as his reputation is diminishing slowly, I guess, but he just loves to work. It's reported that Reynolds is currently in the early stages of creating a new Deadpool film. It's rumored he wants to do another Deadpool X-Men team-up mashup film. Still very, very early on, but it's being reported by multiple sources, and I'm sure with Deadpool able to bring the cash in, Reynolds has some creative control on this one. He is currently finishing up on a script for a comedy that he will also be starring in called Boy Band. In other Marvel news, it looks like the next Avengers film, Avengers Doomsday, which is slated to be released May 1st, 2026, with the Russo brothers directing, it has started filming. Not just going into production mode, but cameras on and filming. This is a good sign to stay on track for next year's release date. However, it's also a really bad sign that it's been being leaked on how not prepared this project is to start filming. So Marvel hasn't even locked down the entire cast yet, and apparently the Russo brothers are filming scenes with only a rough idea of who will actually be in them. Also, this script isn't even done. It's going through alterations and was leaked that it's not there yet, and now parts are being written on the fly. So I don't know, it's a little tough to be excited about that one. Marvel needs to step it up in a big way, though. Avengers Doomsday really might be the best title for that movie. Let's go to the Avatar man himself, James Cameron. He has confirmed that his next film outside of the Avatar universe will be called Ghosts of Hiroshima, or if you're a fancy professor, Ghosts of Hiroshima. Based on the novel by writer Charles Pellegrino, the adaptation will partly center on the real-life account of a Japanese man who lived through the Hiroshima bombing, traveled to Nagasaki, and endured the second nuclear blast there. Cameron had spoken to the actual man just before he passed away. Cameron visited him in the hospital and recounted the real events that happened to him. So much more heavy than we're used to, it will be James Cameron's first film outside the Avatar-verse since the late 90s. And really no date is set yet. There is a lot going on right now still on those damn Avatar films. He said last year that he'd like to make the film before he starts Avatar 4, but then he came out and said that Avatar 6 and 7 were already in development. So, who the hell knows what's going on there. But very interesting project. Good for him for looking beyond Avatar at least. Some other director updates. It looks like Yorgos Lanthimos' next film has a release date set. Begonia will be coming out October 24th of this year, and with a wide release the following week. Begonia will star Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. It's based off a Korean film called Save the Green Planet. The story follows two conspiracy-obsessed young men who kidnap a high-powered CEO of a major company, convinced that she is an alien intent on destroying planet Earth. That sounds very Lanthimos. So he's moving quick and making a lot of projects as of late. That usually doesn't bode well for quality, but he's getting prime release windows here with this film, so we'll see. He's got a good writer for the film, Will Tracy, who wrote The Menu and co-wrote Succession. The film was also produced by Ari Aster, so that's a good team he's got going on there. A director we quite like here at the Daily Ratings, Jeremy Saulnier, has his next project shaping up and has spawned a bidding war for it now. So Saulnier got onto the map with a very intense film, Blue Ruin, in 2014. He then went on to make another very dark and very intense film, 2016's Green Room. He became even more popular and more recognized for his film last year on Netflix called Rebel Ridge. Netflix said within the first 3 days, 31 million people watched Rebel Ridge. So now A24, Neon, 20th Century Studios, and Netflix are bidding on his next still untitled film. Saulnier said he went a different direction than he's used to for Rebel Ridge, and now says he's going back to a more Green Room type vibe. It said that the film will be a thriller, gritty, high-stakes chase story reminiscent of The Fugitive, which honestly, that just sounds great from this guy. We're very excited for whenever this happens. Saulnier will also be looking for a theatrical release for this one as well, which is good. And then I had another story here from The Hollywood Reporter about Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch later in the month. It's actually something that's been on my mind lately, but we've had a bunch of news already here, and I kind of want to bring Vin into the conversation in it as well, so maybe we'll do that on Thursday. So for right now, let's just go ahead and jump into the box office for this past weekend. Our fifth highest grossing film was Until Dawn, which we covered last week. That made $3.8 million. Fourth was The Accountant 2 with $9.5 million. Third for the weekend was a Minecraft movie making $13.7 million. That's at a worldwide total now of $873. Second highest grossing was Sinners with a still very impressive $33 million. That now has a total of $237. And the highest grossing film for this past weekend was indeed Thunderbolts, bringing in a slightly better than expected $76 million. That's pretty good for this movie, I have to say. And that already has a worldwide total of $162. So coming up on this Thursday, Vincent Daly will be watching, rating, and reviewing. Our Alfred Hitchcock film for the week will be Notorious from 1946. We are then covering The Raid Redemption by Gareth Evans from 2011. Very excited to return to that film. And we are not actually going to be covering The Raid 2 this week like we were hinting at, so it's just going to be the first one. And for our new release this week, of course, we're taking a look at those Thunderbolts, and we'll see what Vin has to say, and we'll let him wade through those waters. But that's it for your weekly movie news here, folks. We'll leave you today with a quote from an actress, Sandra Bullock. "No one has ever bought me underwear, and I'm a little bummed about that. But maybe it's not such a big deal anymore." And all right, folks, the Daily Ratings weekly movie news podcast. That was it. See you on Thursday.